Today on Built to Last, we explore why automotive gatherings are more than just weekend events. They're the heartbeat of hot rodding. Next.
I got a T-mount Ford in a flathead mill, 2 carburetors and a dress to kill, cyclone head and an arm clutch, top down top mansion much too much. Well, she shakes and rattles at about red line, and nothing in the world feels quite so fine. And on your dress, when I go past, she feels for me. Yeah, she feels the last. Well, she feels for me. Yeah, she feels the last. Well, she feels the speed. Well, she feels the last.
The roar of engines echoing across the fairground. The shine of chrome catching the sunlight. And the smell of gasoline mixed with tradition. These cars aren't just machines. They're rolling works of art, living pieces of American history, each one built by hand and fueled by passion. But what truly keeps this culture alive isn't just the cars, it's the people. Car shows are where generations collide, where the old guard passes down their wisdom and the young dreamers catch their first spark. It's where builders swap stories, friends become family, and inspiration fuels the next big build.
A car show is like a show and tell, when you're in school. And it's just an expression, a place of, where everybody can unite and just express themselves. Sometimes it doesn't take words, and sometimes it's just, look at my ride. This is me right here. So that's what shows are all about.
Just the little aspect of having a show will create that wow factor for anyone, from a kid to an adult. So it gives an outlet to people that want to be part of something. It gives them that outlet to be part of something. Car shows push that piece of them that needs to come out.
That's the goal. Let's get a large number of people to see things that they're totally surprised and enamored to see. And over the years of doing this, because we've been doing it a long time, the variation of what we bring usually delivers.
The earliest memories of going to shows were in the 90s, mid-90s. When I first started going to shows, I was just a youngster, but it was like 96 through like 98. And, and it was because of my uncles. My uncles always took me to we were big time lowrider guys. And, they were into lowriders as their daily driving cars and stuff like that, or weekend cars. But they were actually race car drivers. And those guys were at roundy round tracks, muscle cars, everything like that. They had fun with. But when it came down to like actually showing themselves on a car and who they are, it was like integrated to that car, that weekend car. So growing up, it was about going to lowrider shows, and those experiences at those lowrider shows. Man, it was something different. I know a lot of you guys can relate to the early days of lowriding and lowrider shows, where even as a young kid, you got exposed to everything. What we don't have anymore is like the bikini contest and the wet t-shirt contest and just the cars themselves, man. They were just as mind-blowing as seeing a girl with a wet t-shirt on. So.
I remember going to car shows with my family. My brother would take me to car shows, and we'd pull up, and it was just the ride over there in the car. I'd hear the big block roaring. We'd go from light to light and just get on the car, and it was just an amusement ride right there. And it was like power on demand. So for me, I had like maybe a little bit of a special partake to to the ride to the show, but when we got there, I remember seeing all these cool colors and chrome and motors, and I'd hear people talk, and everybody was so inspired. It was always a positive vibe, any car show I went to. And for me, I think I'm still living that childhood feeling of when I go to a car show, it's like the wow factor.
It was so amazing. It's kind of like a tour guide, because my dad was in the trades, and he could explain to me, you know, look at the way that this person built this whatever, and look at the way they heated that metal and twisted that, and then they finished it and got every imperfection off it, and then they took it and had it coated or treated or chromed. And so my dad was able to not only take me to the event, but explain the detail of the tradesmanship, the craftsmanship, the customization, so that I could have a perception of, look what somebody made. It's possible to make that. So I still build, I still modify, and I get that same feeling of when I was a little kid when I'm doing it. Especially if it turns out fun and you're able to drive up and pop a hood or do a display and people say, wow, where did you think of this? And you're like, man, you know, I've had the opportunity to see some really cool stuff and wanted to do my own.
Car shows are super necessary. Unfortunately, like in today's world and today's society, and what we're going through and what we're living through now, some places, or you know, without somebody being next to you, without like having some type of issue with what you say or how you look or how you present yourself and how you do things, you know, for some of us car guys, it's the one place where that we can go to and like really, really enjoy ourselves and really express ourselves and show what we have to offer. You know, sometimes our commitment, our pride is shown into our rides and stuff like that. So sometimes a lot of us guys, you know, they're not speaking too much, and they're not saying like, hey, look at me, look at this, look at that, blah, blah, blah. No, it's just some guys just go out there, hey, let's look at the cars. Let's go see what's up. And who's, you know, if there's something interesting enough, even if you're in a group of people, if there's something interesting enough about a person, you're gonna try and get to see what they're about. You're gonna try and get to know them, or where'd you come from? What are you doing? You know, and it's the same thing with cars. You know, you go out to a car show and you can relate to that somebody, or you could relate to that car. You're gonna wanna know a little bit more. Like, who are you? Where'd you come from? Like, what did you do to get here? And it's the exact same thing with cars, you know, and the relation with people and the relation with cars. So car shows are very, very, very important, you know. For a lot of people, it's just a getaway, you know. It's like my time to express myself, my time to show what I've committed to and who I am and where I come from, and you know, there's a whole lot more into it.
You're watching Built to Last. In Albuquerque, New Mexico, car shows are alive and thriving, thanks to passionate people who refuse to let the culture fade. One of those people is Gary Aragon, the man behind the annual Oldtown Showdown.
So, with the help of local talent over here, we've created a monster. Oldtown Showdown is comprised of early models, hot rods, customs, chop tops, lead sleds, stuff that you take it back to the 40s and 50s, traditional stuff, Larry Watson, Gene Winfield, all these great builders. It's kind of a rendition of that era. The Oldtown Showdown is to revive that lifestyle.
His event has become a staple in the community, bringing builders, families, and enthusiasts together to celebrate hot rods and custom culture. Gary is just one of many keeping the spirit of car shows alive in Albuquerque, but his dedication makes him a true driving force.
The reason I'm bringing back that lifestyle of the 50s, 60s, it was a good lifetime. From what I see in pictures, everybody's having a blast. There was no social media, there was no bull. It was all based off of camaraderie, of brotherhood, and guys having a good time. And ladies. Ladies have been doing some hot rodding since back in the day as well. We created the Oldtown Showdown based off of my birthdays. We used to all get together, hang out, and lived on a cul-de-sac over on the west side of town. Pretty interesting because we'd get some bands, live music, barbecue, and before you know it, there was about 50, 60 cars just wrapped in that cul-de-sac. It wasn't until my mother-in-law came to me and said, "Hey, why don't you have a car show?" I'm on, "Car show? What do you mean? What are you talking about? I'm just a blue-collar worker. What do you mean? That's like a big thing to do." Well, she goes, "No, let's have a car show at the restaurant." And I go, "That sounds like a good idea." So we got together, planned it out for the following year, and as of 2013, that was the first show. It was one road, shut down, learning the ropes at the city, how to throw a car show, not knowing what we were doing, my wife and I. My mother-in-law was just figuring that out as well. And yeah, it went off without a hitch. It was pretty cool. We had a band on the side playing some rockabilly, local music. We had cars 50 style, 60 style, 30s. We had chop tops and hot rods come in. I think our first year we pulled about like 45 cars. Fast forward, to like the fifth year, we actually shut down from that one road, we turned it into a T. And we lined it up from both sides. We had people coming in from out of state. We had Junior Huff coming in. Prior to that, actually, Bo Huff was actually on his way in, God rest his soul. After that, the following year, his son decided to come out and represent the Bo Huff family, which was an honor out here. It was something pretty cool. That's kind of when I knew we were on the right track. We had people interested in the show. Then we met Kyle from Night Shift Customs. That same year, we also had Los Boulevardos come out from Arizona. Great group of guys. It showed a lot of respect toward Albuquerque for bringing customs and hot rods out here. Fast forward a little bit more, we started getting dead sleds showed up. Johnny De La Rosa came out with his car, cleaned house. We had some cars from the Lords from SoCal. That led one thing to the other. The show has grown now to 11 years. We just completed 11 years. My major goal was to go to Old Town. In history, I haven't heard of anybody throwing a car show in the plaza, and it's got just the best atmosphere. You got a church on one end, you got shops, it's all Southwest, it's like Pueblo living. Actually, it reminds me of like old school gunslinger. I mean, it just brings out the term showdown to me. This show was good this year. It was put together well with the help of a lot of people, a lot of sponsors, and we're growing it to be something that we could actually put Albuquerque on the map with. I feel honored when I go to California and people not know me, but they know the show. And that's an honor, because to be honest, California is where it's at. Texas, on the other hand, is hot rods, heavy hot rods. Everything out there is big cam, Hemis, old school blowers. For me, that's hot rod heavy. So I think just being in the center of those is going to be the key ticket to making this show grow. I just need to expand more and talk to more people and get more people to come. But to be honest with you, my main focus on this show is passion. It creates a community. People start conversations, and before you know it, hey, I know that so-and-so, or I do this for a living. Oh, you know what? I could use you, or I can go to your shop, or whatever the matter may be. But the thing is it creates contacts. I've never known anybody outside of New Mexico until this show was actually created. I've been fortunate enough, my wife and I and my kids, and we go out to these shows and we meet people and talk and create relationships. So I know firsthand that these shows are providing contacts for each individual. And it gives them something to look forward to. To be honest with you, I wanted to shut the show down for about 3 years now. It takes a lot. It takes a lot. Working a blue-collar job, and your family is inside eating dinner while you're out here hustling. Not just for my show, for shows, period. You're hustling to get to this show or that show, and you miss dinner. You're taking a shower, going to bed, and you missed all that family time. It takes a toll. It's not easy, and you gotta have a very understanding family. So I think balance is a part of it, which I'm learning how to do now. But that stuff takes time. It takes time and a lot of patience. But on the positive aspect, when you're driving and you look in the rear view and you see your little kid in the back with the cheeser ear to ear, just because people are throwing thumbs up or waving or old people talking to you, it doesn't matter. It creates an ambience that is unforgettable. You cannot replicate that unless you're in an old car. So going back to me shutting down the show, I know it's a lie personally because it's my passion, building cars and then bringing communities together and people from everywhere. That's my rush out of it. I love talking to people, making new friends. And for a while they're so disappointed in me, but they know that I won't do it. So unless I'm on the other side of the ground, this show's gonna continue. So welcome to the Oldtown Showdown. Hope you guys come out. Peace and love.
You're watching Built to Last. Ruben Zamora, a prominent figure in the hot rodding community, believes car shows should be more than just rows of cars and trophies. To him, a true show should offer an experience, one that brings people together, showcases craftsmanship, and gives families a reason to come back year after year. For Ruben, it's about creating an event that celebrates culture as much as it celebrates cars.
You want to make a good car show? I think a little something for everyone. Just the fun and the excitement of having a good show. A lot of thing that moves people is music. There's always some type of music or a DJ back there or something. I think that just kind of gets people into the mood. Then certain shows have beverages to offer. Just it could be a lemonade or a nice cold beer, and just depending on your environment, sometimes you adapt to what's around, and next thing you know, if it wasn't your thing, you're at least having fun jamming out to the music, or watching the chicks walk by, or whatever. But just a little something for everybody at a car show, and I think that's the exciting part of it, and also the paint jobs and the wheels and interiors and all the new modern custom stuff and old stuff, and there's always something for everybody, even if it's more of a intimate vibe at a car show, even if it's a common vibe where it's just locals just gathering up 30, 40 guys, whatever, cool, and you got your big time car shows too. But yeah, there's just always something for everyone out there, If some folks are happy with spending the whole day out there, and some folks are content, they got their excitement out of being there for an hour, and that's it. But at least you went over, you checked it out, participated, got to meet with some old friends and stuff like that too. That's another big thing about shows is cool thing is just touching bases with a lot of good friends and talking about what they're up to, what they're building, how's life, how's the family, stuff like that. So that's always important too. Very important of the important part of the car community is to always just keep connected. There's some times where it'll take me longer to get there, or times longer to prepare than from what I'm actually there at the event or at the show. But it just depends on what the show has to offer and what's actually going on at the event and stuff like that. But usually most of the time I like staying there till the end. Whether it's a swap meet or a car show, anything about cars. Like I try to, if it's an event and it's put on for the public, I try to do my best to kind of get out there and enjoy it for what it is and what they have to offer for the whole day. And of course, there's different elements that come into life, in one's life, or maybe something else is going on. Go for an hour or two, whatever. But if there ain't nothing going on, pretty much stick it out and stay out there and hang out and talk to people and talk about their cars and get some more knowledge. It's knowledge is important when it comes to stuff that even if it isn't your thing. So that's very important, is just talking to people. And sometimes, the cars will always be there, but that knowledge sometimes it won't be there. Me personally, I've never been that type to really judge anyone because of their cars, even if it's not my thing. If there's something interesting on that car or whatever, I'll go up and I'll, even if it's a wrap, and car wraps aren't my thing. If your wheels are kind of twisted or whatever, like, how did you do that? I still want to know how you did it. How do you do this? How do you do that? And I've never judged anybody really about how they do things. Because like I said, knowledge is power. You never know. The situation might change. One might end up in the Honda Civic after a beautiful restored 1940s car or something. You just never know how life will change. At least things never got to be that one guy. You dropped it like this, or you did this like this, and that just that knowledge and just being able to talk to people and everything like that is a very important thing to do. That communication within the culture and within everybody and stuff like that. There's no reason to shun anybody out, and I'm just happy that these guys are still kind of in the hobby up and going. Even if it's not my flavor, you're still doing something with the car.
For Michael, it's about making sure the culture doesn't just survive at shows, but thrives every day.
If it was illegal all of a sudden to have car shows, I think the enthusiasts would morph into a different version. And you have that now. You have swap meets, you have races, you have, like I said, parades, cruises. There's all kinds of different ways for people to gather together to do that. And I think it's helpful. I think it's helpful because it adds another leg. It's definitely not the single structure that everything, in my opinion, is rested upon, but it has a role. You go to national car shows that are very exclusive, and 90% of the vehicles come in on trailers and they're never driven. That's a car show. It may be $60 to $80 to get in, and you can't bring cameras to some of them. You have to only use authorized media. And then you have, Joe's Repair Shop or Fred's Repair Shop that's just putting together a little barbecue and having a car show. So you have everything in between. It's a huge space. I think it helps it. I don't know if it's necessary, but I think it helps. I do a lot of non-car shows. I do cruises, meets, parades, things like that, where vehicles are being shown. The static car shows, I think it's the norm in North America, and of course a lot of other countries as well. But I think it's a simple concept that most people understand, and I think that's why there's the continual car show. Now, in this market where we're at, in the part of the country where we're at, businesses are really starting to look at how popular car shows are. So you have a lot of new entities entering the space. So there's a whole mixture and vibe that goes along with them. So it's kind of fun. It's an open market. There's no rules. I mean, there are rules, like you can't just take over a street or a building. But now with social media and smartphones, it's easy for individuals to put the word out about a gathering. But I think car shows play a role. I don't think that it's mandatory, but I think it adds to the overall enthusiast scene. The other thing is to keep things moving. Cruises, meetups, keep it fluid, keep it in small numbers, and keep it going.
Without these gatherings, the legacy of hot rods and custom cars risk fading into the rearview mirror. That's why car shows matter. They're more than chrome and horsepower. They're tradition, culture, and community wrapped into one. Every polished fender, every engine rumble, every handshake and story passed down in a parking lot keeps this way of life alive. Because at the end of the day, it's not just about the cars. It's about the people, the passion, and the promise that hot rodding will always be built to last. See you next time.
When I said goodbye, left you on a lonesome bed late last night, and you're on my mind as these miles pass me by, and you're on my mind as these miles pass me by. This long hard road, I know it causes pain, and in the wind I hear it call your name, and you're on my mind as these miles pass me by, and you're on my mind as these miles pass me by. Yeah, let's go.